Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Haley-Louise and I would like to say hello. Hello! In today's video, as you can probably tell from the title obviously, is going to be me sitting down, doing my makeup, trying to make myself look a little bit more politically correct and talking about an experience. We'll call it an experience. I just thought I would tell you a story, kind of a weird, strange client story that happened to me, I think it was a couple of years ago now. So yeah, let's do some makeup. Let's sit back and grab yourself a cup of tea. Got a Pepsi Max here, cherry flavoured, yes, not sponsored sadly. I am going to just put a little bit of pore minimiser on because my pores are like really feeling at the minute, just with a bit of Body Shop tea tree oil. So prime first. Beginning off this story, we were booked in to do a wedding at a quite well-known UK holiday resort. It's in a coastal area, which is probably about an hour and a half or so journey to get there. So it was an early morning start. We were set up to do, I think it was 5 or 6 heads, so that was hair and makeup. So there was 3 of us that arranged to go down, get all our kits ready, get into the car. They were having a blessing at this holiday resort or somewhere near the holiday resort, so they were staying there with the full bridal party, and yeah, we were going to get them ready in their room at the resort, and then they were going to go on from there because it was only within walking distance, a couple of minutes. There was 2 of us at the time, and the 3rd makeup artist was going to meet us there later. We travelled down there. It was like ridiculously early when we left. I think it was around the sort of like 5-6 a.m. mark to make this wedding. We'd gotten in the car, we'd travelled all the way down there. We found the, I think it was a cabin or a chalet or something they were staying in, and knocked on the door. No answer. Trying to contact people, trying to see where these people are, why they aren't answering the door, were we in the right place. So the problem there is, by this point, we have travelled there. We've been knocking at the door and trying to call anyone within the wedding party to find out what's going on. I'm going to be using the Jeffree Star Blue Blood today. We're standing outside and we're knocking and knocking and knocking, and we can hear people inside, but no one's coming to the door, no one's answering. When all of a sudden someone actually answers. So it's this lady, and she's looking at us up and down, looking very confused. So we were like, oh crap, we are in the wrong place. I say to her like, hi, we're the makeup artists, we're supposed to be here this morning to prepare the bridesmaids and the bride for her ceremony this afternoon. The lady carries on like staring at us blankly, and we have no idea what to do. And then all of a sudden she comes out with, yeah, but I don't know where she is. And I was like, right, well, do you know her? Like, are we in the wrong place? And she's like, no, you're in the right place. We just don't know where the bride is. We all went out last night and no one has seen the bride. Well, where are the bridesmaids? Is there anyone like here we can talk to that can contact her or whatever? So she says, no, we can't contact any of the bridesmaids either, so we don't know where anyone is. But we are in touch with the maid of honour, who we were also supposed to be doing the makeup on. We are in touch with the maid of honour, and she won't be arriving until 11 o'clock. She also said, oh yes, and she also wanted chopstick curls. Now chopstick curls are really, really sort of like tightly bound curls. that take quite a while to do, and the ceremony I think was at 12 o'clock. So she wasn't arriving until 11. The bridal party was missing, and we had no idea where the bride was. No one could get in contact with her. So we've been stood there like, okay, what's our next move? What do we do? And then she mentioned these chopstick curls, and then we were like, oh my goodness, we weren't told this. We have no equipment with us to do chopstick curls with. The other makeup artist that I was with was like, there's an Argos down the road. I know that they sell them. What I'll do is I will run to Argos and grab one. Seeming as we're waiting anyway, so I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, if you want to do that, and then I'll wait here for the bride. When the bride turns up, I'll get started. I'll get started on whoever turns up first. By this time, probably about half an hour has gone by. We've had no updates at all. I am now left on my own in a holiday park, stood outside of a chalet because they didn't invite us in, to waiting for a bride that no one has seen since the night before, full kit, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. Then comes to the door, there's a man that then came to the door and was like, would you like to come in and wait inside? And I was like, well, that would be quite nice, thank you. And he's like, I'm the groom. So he was the one getting married. And he was like, I'm the groom, I'm just cooking breakfast for everyone. And then the bridesmaids are going to come and have breakfast. And then you can get started with their makeup. So I kind of like said to him, well, that's okay. Do you know kind of like what sort of time the bridesmaids and everything will be arriving now, because we are on like a little bit of a time crunch for getting everyone ready, because we were told to be here by this time, this many people, takes this amount of time. He was like, yeah, they'll all be arriving shortly. So they sit down and begin to have their breakfast. In the meantime, the groom has been trying to contact the bride, so kept on going to answer phone. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure that there is any point in us actually staying, because, you know, it's annoying if you're getting somewhere. We had other clients booked in that day as well. We had another makeup artist travelling down like over an hour's drive to get here to turn up to do this wedding, and if there was no bride, then there's not going to be a wedding, you know. So it was very much a decision of like, you know, are you going to do this or whatever else. So this is probably now, I'd say, a good 45 to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour now that we've been waiting for this bride to turn up. So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step outside and see how far away or how long the other makeup artist was that ran off to get the chopstick curlers. So I managed to get through to her. She said she's on her way, like back now. She's only going to be a couple of minutes. She's just got to wait for the product to come down. So I was like, okay, cool. Told her that obviously there was still no one there, no one had arrived. Contemplated calling the other MUA. So then I got onto the phone then to the other MUA to say, listen, how far away are you? Have you left yet? Because I don't think that this is actually going to like happen. With that, I look around and I see that there's this lady walking towards me in the middle of this holiday park, dressed in, I don't know, I think it was like security or something. So she's dressed in security clothes, like a Ann Summers kind of style dress, flip-flops on, and looking a little bit worse for wear. And she starts like shouting to me as I'm approaching. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm the bride." And I was like, "Oh, hello." She kind of like walks past me, ducks into the chalet, starts like telling everyone about her tale, where she's been, why she didn't come home, and apparently she had been up for most of the night chatting to a couple of guys that she'd met the night before, and she'd ended up staying in their chalet. The groom was kind of a little bit like, "I'm sorry, what? You stayed in the chalet the night before your wedding, like with a bunch of guys?" And she was like, "Oh, nothing went on, they were just really, really friendly, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, he's gotten really, really annoyed by this. I mean, you know, I think most people would, in all fairness. And so then he's like, "I need to think about this, I need to go off and have a walk." So she has started crying, that the wedding's not going to happen, that her fiance doesn't love her anymore. In the meantime of all this happening, the other makeup artist has returned with chopstick curlers. And so she has like walked into the midst of all of this that's going on. So kind of like catch her up, tell her the situation. So then I've gone off to try and talk to the bride. So I'm like, "Listen, we are booked, we're here, we really, like, if this is happening, we really, really need to start getting you ready, like, now, because otherwise there's just not going to be time." So she's like, yeah, of course, that's fine. I'm just gonna go off and talk to my fiance and make sure that all of this is still happening, because I've obviously like messed up. So I'm like, right, okay. They came out about 5 minutes later. They were absolutely fine, like whatever the quarrel was, or she explained herself or something happened in there, and they were fine. So they were like, "The wedding's back on, yay, let's go." Like by this time I was like ready. I was just like, let's just do this now then. Go into the chalet. I'm like, right, where do you want me to set up? She's like, right, we're gonna set up into the bedroom so that my fiance doesn't see me getting ready. So I was like, okay, cool, that's absolutely fine. I'll just go and set up. It'll only be a couple of minutes, and then we can get started with your makeup. She's like, yeah, that's cool. I think I'm gonna do first though is that I need to eat something. I haven't eaten since last night, so I'm gonna eat some breakfast. I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, if you can be as fast as possible, that's okay as well. But maybe we can get started on your bridesmaids. Where are they? So she's like, I don't know, I have no idea. All I know is that my maid of honour is turning up at 11 o'clock. So I was like, right, okay, is there any chance like you can give me number if you want to go and eat your breakfast? I will call them and try and arrange like for them to come down here now. And she was like, no, that's fine. I'm going to call them all, I'll text them all, I'll make sure that they're all here, and leaves the room. She's probably gone about 20 minutes, I would say. So we've been waiting here now for getting on, I think it was like, it must have been 2 hours. It must have been 100%. And we are like, I'm getting really angsty. Well, we all are. We're all getting really, really annoyed that, you know, we're here. We've taken on this booking. There's 3 of us here to do this wedding, and so far we haven't done a single person. So we were in there, left alone, like I said, for about 20 minutes probably. And then the bride comes through the door sobbing, and she has her phone in her hand, and she's saying, none of my bridesmaids are now coming to my wedding. We were like, what? She turns around and says, like, reads this text message out. Now, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of, because of your behaviour last night, we don't think that you are, that you should be getting married, and we do not want to be part of your wedding anymore. Your behaviour was really, really bad, and we were just like, oh, okay. And then, so now the bride is in like hysterics. She's like, oh my god, I've got no bridesmaids, I've got nothing, there's no point, this wedding is not happening. And we're like, right, okay, calm down, calm down. You know, let's see if we can get this sorted. Let's try our best to, you know, what can we do to remedy, what can we do to help? And she was like, alright, okay. So anyway, in the meantime, there was another random person that was attending the wedding, showed up, and she went on to have this like full-blown conversation with her as well, telling her everything that was going on, exactly the same as like what she told us, saying about how, you know, she was so upset, and the bridesmaids, and the woman convinced her. She was like, listen, this is your wedding day, just sit down, get your makeup done, and, you know, be happy, enjoy yourself, enjoy this time. She's like, okay, that's fine. Right, I've decided that it's absolutely fine. I'm going to get married without any of my bridesmaids here. So we're like, okay. So we had the thing of like, you know, we were like, right, well, we have come down here for 6 people, and that's what you were booked in for. We understand that this has happened and, you know, that you can't help it, but, you know, really, we still need to get paid for those 6. Because the thing is like, that was a lot of travel. There was 3 of us. We have missed out on other bookings, because of coming down to there. Like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it for literally one person. And she's like, oh, well, the maid of honor's still coming. She might be here a little bit earlier. So that's it, and I'll see if I can get other people here to do some makeup. Okay, let's get started on your makeup then. So she's like, that's what I'm going to do, but I need to have a shower before I start. It wasn't fine, like, all of that should have been done beforehand, and also as well, you know, she was the only one having her makeup done. And if you've ever tried to put makeup on after you've just gotten out of the shower, like, that is a task in itself. So I'm trying to, you know, get her ready. She's only got, it was probably about 10:30 by this point. She was getting married at 12. She is still in the clothes from the night before. She has not slept at all. She's just lost all of her bridesmaids. Like, all of this happened in that morning. So I was just like, oh my god. I am panicking, like, so badly, because as well I'm just like, I don't know if I can actually get her ready in time, because it's supposed to be hair and makeup. Like, if your wedding is at 2 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, you should be ready by 11, which is like half an hour, you know. That gives you then, you know, an hour to put your dress on, to decompress a little bit. So we are like, I am fully in panic mode at this point. She says again, she's like, well, I will, but I'm going to go and have my shower first. I can be in and out within 10 minutes. The other makeup artist that was in there then was like, listen, with this time, I'm not going to be able to do a full head of chopstick curls. It's just not going to happen, because it takes a lot of time to do this. I don't know what length her hair is. I have no idea. So with that, the maid of honour who had requested the chopstick curls turned up. So we were like, oh, thank God, at least something is going right. We were like, right, quick, just get her in the chair, get her moving. The other makeup artist that was supposed to be coming was running late by this point because of traffic. So we were like, listen, don't worry, take your time, we can sort it. There's now like, we've been cut in half with our amount of people that we're doing. So it's not like a crazy rush that you get down here. So she's like, right, okay, we're like, see you when you get here. The maid of honour has come in and she has hair down to her elbows probably. And the other makeup artist is looking at her like, this hair is going to take a while, like I need to start right this second. So she's like, okay, cool. So she sits down and starts doing it. I'm like, right, okay, what I'm going to do is, the bride is in the shower, I am going to start doing the maid of honour's makeup so that that one is done and out the way and finished with. One is on the makeup, on the maid of honour, the other one is on the hair. So we started doing the maid of honour and in comes the bride in a towel. She's like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here, you'll never guess what's happened. And the whole story again, at the same time that this is happening, the third makeup artist has turned up. So I have said to her, right, listen, this bride, we are like running so behind now. I've started the maid of honour's makeup, you please finish it. So she's like, okay, that's fine, I'm on it. So I was like, thank God. The bride then carries on and says, you know, all of this stuff, and she starts crying again about all of her bridesmaids not wanting to come to her wedding. Then the maid of honour, out of her purse, goes and gets about 30 tiny like test tube shots. She's like, it's okay, cool, have one of these, you'll feel absolutely fine. So she sits down, she starts having a shot, and then she has another one and another one and another one. So she's kicked back, I would say about 5 or 6 test tubes at this point, which, you know, everyone has a drink on their wedding day, I feel, you know, calm the nerves and all of that. But she was, you know, she was going for it. I am trying to calm her down, keep her head still. I've like clamped her in my hand, the top of the head. I'm trying to get this foundation on as fast as possible. Another lady that was attending turned up. She comes into the room. She then sets the bride off again. The bride then starts crying. I am trying to do, you know, like eyes and mascara and everything at this point. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm dabbing her face. I'm trying to, you know, console her at the same time, do her makeup. The maid of honour is like looking at herself like, oh yeah, no, I'd like these curls, you know, bigger. I want bigger lashes on. So the other makeup artist has had to make changes to the maid of honour's makeup. All the meantime, the bride is crying. She's getting more and more drunk because she's carried on taking these shots the whole time that she was sat down there. I have never ever felt so under pressure at a wedding in my entire life. Like that, it was really, really stressful. I wanted to just stop and walk out of there. I did the rest of her makeup, managed to get her looking pretty decent. The maid of honour was done. She was finally like happy with her face. Her hair was nearly done, and it's now, she's getting married at 12 o'clock. This is now like 11:30. I have just finished off with the bride's makeup, and I'm like, okay, we need to do this hair really, really fast. Luckily she did only have like quite short hair, and she just wanted a few curls, so we did that really fast. And then I was like, right, do you need help getting into your dress? The bride, by this point, had maybe one too many of the test tube shots, because she was looking pretty like all over the place. So she's like, bring me my dress, bring me my dress. So we're trying to bring her dress and laid it out like flat on the bed. And I need my shoes. So we're like, right, okay, that's fine. Where are your shoes? And she's like, I don't know. So she stands up and releases the towel, runs over to a suitcase, bends over to start looking for her shoe. Me getting an eyeful then ensued. I did not know where to look in that second. I was like, oh, okay, caught off guard a little bit there. So bent over in her full glory, no towel on, bent over. The problem was at the time though, she was facing a window and there were obviously people walking past in this holiday camp. So there's then people like, woo, and like banging on the window and everything. She's like, I can't find my shoes. And she started crying over her bridesmaids again because she remembered that all of her bridesmaids had gone amiss. I was like, oh my God. I remember just literally picking up my brushes and just being like, I'm just gonna clean these. I'm just gonna look down. I'm just gonna clean these. Thank God the maid of honor really like pulled it together. She was an absolute legend. She calmed her straight down. She was like, listen, here's your shoes. We found them. They're all good. Put your dress on. We need to get you going like now. So she was like, okay. So we put her in the dress in literally, I've never put anyone in a wedding dress as fast as that. It was lace up as well. I'm like, typical. So we put her in the dress in about 6 minutes flat, probably. We're there, we're trying to like, I'm literally like shoving a tiara into her head. She's putting her shoes on. The other makeup artist that's come in, she's putting her other shoes on. There's one makeup artist like spraying the maid of honor's hair in place and making sure the curls will look okay. It was absolute chaos. The bride then picked up about another 2 or 3 test shots and just sort of like was stood there waiting for the maid of honor, chucking back these shots. So the maid of honor's ready. She's like, I just need to change my shoes. You get going, I'll meet you there. So the bride has gone, okay. So we've turned around to just sort of like grab our stuff and pack up. And then all of a sudden, I turned and was like, who's paying? The chalet, there was like 10 people in there before, have cleared out, it's completely gone. The bride is like tromping off down the, out of the front door. We're still in the chalet, so we're like, what is going on? So the other makeup artist that was there ran after the bride, bless her heart. She ran after her to be like, listen, we haven't been paid, like we need to be paid. The bride told the other makeup artist, it's okay, the maid of honor is covering it. So we're like, okay, cool. So she comes in and she says that, and she says like, oh yeah, the bride said that you'll be covering it. Which would have been fine if the maid of honor had any idea that she was supposed to be covering it, because she was like, I haven't been told this. So I'm like, oh my God. She's like, right, listen, I'll pay you for your work, but like I am going to, like I am really not happy about it. She's gonna hear about this later. So like this point now, like the maid of honor is really angry with the bride. So it's like, right, so this wedding morning we were supposed to do 6 people. We ended up doing 2 people with like, in like the course of about half an hour, 20 minutes, hair and makeup. The bridesmaids were not coming because of the bride's behaviour the previous night. The bride was drunk, had no sleep. I have never ever been in that situation. Like it sounds to me like a stupid rom-com, like So it was like a silly, like a rom-com film starter of everything that could go wrong. But like that actually happened, and it was so weird. But anyway, the maid of honour paid us and we were done. It was about an hour until we all had to be at the next place. We were like, okay, we're going to go and get some food. So we sit down, we go in, we order some food at this holiday resort, and we're there, we're looking out the window, and all of a sudden I see a white dress, white wedding dress, and so I see the maid of honour and the bride outside. The bride running and the maid of honour running after her. She kind of like swings around and stops her outside of the restaurant in the resort, and she is screaming at her. Like the maid of honour is screaming at the bride really like intently. The bride is crying. There's hands going everywhere, you know, and people are like, nah. Really, really like dramatic. Couldn't hear what they were saying at all. So we knew that like something had gone down, and we were like, that's probably over the payment. So yeah, we saw them like sort of screaming and going afterwards. And then they both walked off in opposite directions. When they were there talking earlier, I knew that they were supposed to be all like meeting up and having a reception together somewhere that the maid of honour had arranged. So I don't know if that actually happened or not, but it was just absolutely mental. That day was so full of shenanigans. It is unbelievable. Right. You'd think that that was like, you know, the end of the story. Came back that day. It had been a really, really long day. We had like so much more makeup and everything down there. So we were walking around with our kits. I think we were probably going to like the second to last one or something. And I spotted someone sat on a bench in a suit. And I kind of glanced over and I thought I'm sure that that's the groom from earlier on today. He definitely looked a little bit worse for wear. I feel like he'd had a darn good time celebrating his marriage. So good, in fact, that there was a girl sat next to him comforting him, and it wasn't the bride that we did earlier. I did not say anything. I was just like, oh, drama, no thank you, I've had enough of that today. I am just going home. I want to go home. Let's do this. Let's go. So we got in the car. So we got in the car after that, obviously headed back. A couple of days later, it's sort of usual, pretty standard, that we would do a wedding or anything of some sort. Do a wedding, makeup, events, and then we just kind of like drop them a message to say, you know, hi there, I hope you had a really good time, I hope we're satisfied. If you can, you know, let us know, and if you enjoyed it, you can leave a review. We'd love to see, you know, pictures, etc, etc. And you know, that's how it worked. So we messaged her to say this, and I don't think we had a response back for ages. I'm talking like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. She then messaged back and said, just said, yeah, thanks, or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. I don't know if they are still together or not. I kind of think that maybe they were suited for each other. She was telling us the story like of how like they met there, and she was a holiday rep there, and they got engaged at the park, and he proposed at the park. They conceived their first child together there. So I mean, there was a lot of lovely memories for them to share there, which is great. Now though, I'm so glad in a way that that did happen to me, because I'm just a bit like, do you know what? I can put up, if I can deal with that, if I can actually get through that, like I can deal with anything. There's been drama and stuff at weddings, you know, that we've had over even just this last year, but nothing has ever been as stressful as what that day was. So ladies, if any of you are planning a wedding and you think, oh my goodness, this is so stressful, so much stuff could go wrong. Yeah, it can, but believe me, I don't think it's ever going to be as bad as that, you know, every bridesmaid has quit. Every bridesmaid has quit. There was a disappeared bride who spent the night in someone else and some other guy's chalet. The groom was having other activities on his wedding night other than with the bride, you know, from what I witnessed. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if your bouquet isn't quite right, don't sweat it. And know as well that if you are getting married, it is possible to get you ready for a wedding in 20 minutes. I think I'm about done. I have waffled on and on and on. That story is probably 10 times longer than it should have been. I think I'm going to... I chose a blue. I don't usually do blues, but I'm quite happy with this actually. Blue apparently is the colour of 2020, and I've just noticed as well I'm wearing a blue hoodie. Blue lights in the background. What's going on? That was my crazy story. Well, I don't know how crazy it is, I don't know, I just thought it was very interesting. So, thank you so much for watching if you have made it this far to the end. If you want any more info on the makeup, then yeah, do let me know, and I'll try my best to put it all in the description box for you. But yeah. Is anyone getting married this year, or have you recently been married, or maybe do you have your own kind of like your own like wedding disaster story? Share it below in the comments section and maybe we can all have a laugh and have a giggle. Yeah, but let me know. I've got quite a few more of these as well, of very, very rude clients, weird, dodgy kind of like stories and stuff like that as well. So if this sort of video is something that you would be interested in seeing again from me, then yeah, do let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, that is about it. Subscribe if you like it. And yeah, if you want to see any more sort of like close-up pictures or anything of this, follow my Instagram as well. I do post loads on there. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to ramble on for far too long now, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time in another video. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!